The lighting on my end is not great here. I've got a window behind me. I'm going to go buy a new laptop today. We were just discussing this. My laptop's got a weird camera. But Kayla and I were chatting and we were like, this is too good. It's Biz Besties. It needs to be Biz Besties. And we're very aware it's going to ruffle some feathers, but that's what we're here for.
Yeah, it's just our opinion.
It's just our opinion. And it's really good conversation. It's a starter conversation if you're with your girlfriends, because we were just chatting as two girlfriends talking about it, and then it came up. So then we thought somebody else needs to hear this. But before we get into it, what are you grateful for today?
Today, I'm grateful for our amazing virtual assistant team of Paul and May. And really, it's May who does all the work, and Paul, I think, guides and supports her on the back end. We don't hear from Paul that much. And he is the ultimate VA master who is training all the VA masters around him to help the team. And so we're so grateful for them. And do you want to hear something weird about Paul and May?
Go for it.
Okay. Paul and May are my paternal grandparents' names. And so the universe, they both passed now, and the universe is looking out for us by sending us Paul and May 2.0 to support us to grow our business. I mean, I've always wanted more and more family support, and I've lived away from home for a long time. And the universe is handing me family support in so many ways. So I'm grateful for that.
So good. So a week ago, I attended Jen Young's The Power of Now event, and she had Kristen Woodford as a guest speaker talking about morning routines, which reignited creating your dream list for a morning routine and knowing that you don't have to do all of it, but you could pull pieces from it.
What do you mean? You don't have to do every single thing on the list every day.
Right? That's used to be what I used to coach with Susan over and over. My black and white thinking with a morning routine. Like, I can't meditate, I can't journal, I can't visualize that. If I can't do all of that and spend 2 hours, then I'm not doing anything. And she'd be like, okay, we're going to scale it back a bit. Can you choose one? So Kristen was a great reminder of this. And so I wrote down my little wish list of morning routines. And then we kind of made like non-negotiable ones of which ones we were going to do this week. And I said, no matter what, I'm going to make sure I write my gratitudes before or above all else. And so I was sitting here this morning writing my gratitudes, and Louis was laying next to me, and oh my God, he looks just as cute right now. And he's a big boy, but he was like curled up in a ball with his paws all tucked together. And he's got this little blue scarf on that says Big Brother. And he just looks so cute. And I honestly just think if anybody is struggling mentally, emotionally in your life, get yourself a dog, because it does something to your vibrational state, to your happiness, to your joy. Like, I look at him and I just think, how are you so perfect? So I'm so grateful for him, and I'm grateful for the reminder of a gratitude list, because I did it this morning, and it wasn't just like I'm grateful for Louis. It was like why he makes me grateful like that, and moving through those things. So yeah.
He is a gorgeous boy. What can we say? His face is perfect. We call him the model doggy.
Yes, yes. And his snout. Oh my gosh, I just love his snouts.
This morning, Bowmore woke us up before the alarm by throwing up in the bed.
No.
I thought I was gonna, well, I thought I looked a lot better than I did before I saw the mirror and the Zoom screen. I was like, oh my goodness, I really thought I was making it happen today. But then when I reflect, I am a little bit tired, and I was woken up to a lot of gross barf. So that was kind of yucky. That's okay. I love him anyway. We washed all the sheets. I mean, who doesn't need to wash the sheets all the time anyway? It's a great opportunity, really.
I love a fresh sheet moment.
Yeah.
For the listeners who are in Victoria, Citroso, they'll come to your house, they'll clean your carpets. And a client of ours said, I brought them in to clean my mattress. And I thought, what a good idea.
Oh, that is a good idea.
Yeah. So actually, now I'm like, I'm going to hire them to come in and clean our mattress.
Yeah, especially before you move.
Yes.
Treat yourself.
I'm moving, everybody. It's very exciting. I'm going to have the kitchen island of my dreams.
Yeah, and the garage.
Yeah. Home gym. We're going to make it happen.
Yeah, it's so fun. Oh, you're gonna have a home gym. Are you gonna have weights in there?
Yes.
Wow, this is getting better and better for me.
Over we'll work out, then we'll do work.
Yes. Okay, finally. Dreams.
Okay. You know what? Just to be funny and kind of segue into this, and all of this is happening. The move, the home gym, the dream life scenario keeps getting better and better because I'm making it happen. And I did win the lottery, and love you, Jeff, but I don't have a millionaire husband.
Millionaire in spirit.
Yes, and a millionaire in how he shows up for me and treats me like a queen.
Yes, and he's on his way.
He's on his way. But if we're talking dollar bills in the bank, It's not there yet. So, in terms of dollar bills in the bank, like we're not there yet. And this is what you and I were just chatting about. If you said to me, if Jeff, made $2 million this year, would you still do what we're doing in My Aligned Purpose? And then I asked
Mhm.
you the same thing. Or if we won the lottery and we're talking in the millions, multi-millions, life-changing money annually, would we still do what we were doing? And this sparked a really great convo.
I often think about if I would have married one of my boyfriends before Scott, who all had different amounts of money, but lots of money, would I have been so scrappy to start my painting company? Well, not my painting, but start my butter churning company, leave fundraising, work so hard in fundraising, go to Royal Roads, do executive coaching. Would the path have led this way?
Hmm.
We don't know.
We don't know, but I guess we could kind of maybe take a calculated guess at how
Hmm.
we're wired. And the reason that we were saying, like, right before we hit record, we were like, let's just make this a Biz Besties. And then we said, we know it's going to ruffle some people's feathers. And the reason that we can anticipate it might ruffle some feathers is you may be listening and you may have supportive spouse, and that spouse may generate a lot of money. That means that you don't necessarily have to activate on the money making portion of your business. They'll show up and be creative and create content and talk to people and have fun and do what you're doing. But is the driving force there to make sales? That's what we
Yeah.
want to talk about.
I know. It's or an inheritance, some sort of like money that you didn't necessarily have to work for. If that was present in your life, or I could just speak from my standpoint, if that was present in my life, would I have worked so hard to create cash flow? I don't know. It's so hard to say because we see, this is the ruffle feathers part. We often see as coaches, if people don't have the motivation because they need to pay bills to make money, it's hard to have a startup. It's
Mhm.
hard to keep going when you're getting money anyway, and it doesn't have to do from your business. Doesn't have to be from your business.
Yeah, I think about how, like, that's just not how I was raised. I wasn't set off and free into the world at 18 with, like, here's your money, like, go have fun. It was go figure it out.
Mhm.
And that's what I had to do. That's what I was forced to do was figure it out. And I feel like I've been in this situation multiple times throughout my adult life where I've had to figure it out. And
Mhm.
when I started coaching, I felt like we had this great cushion or runway of like, here's clients, here's how you market, here's how you have the business of coaching. Like that was kind of set up for us in a nice way. It was role modeled in a way that we could see how it could be done. And then we were left to ourselves with pretty much the wording of figure it out. And I think that that scenario of push comes to shove. And at that time, I mean, I could say like at that moment of starting My Aligned Purpose, I didn't have a partner, but I did, but he broke up with me a week later. So in the beginning, I was left on my own. We can laugh about it now, but it was not funny at the time.
Dark days.
Dark days. It was a really hard season for me. And if we flash back to that time, Scott got laid off from work along with like the majority of the population. It was COVID, everybody was getting laid off. And you were pregnant with Evie, your first daughter.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
there was a lot on the line. And you and I think if I reflect back, I mean, this wasn't the conversation we were having in the moment, but if I reflect back, like it was a hair on fire situation.
Yeah. I did have some real estate investments. Yeah, I just want to be transparent for people who know that, who've been along from the beginning. But it was like, I don't have any income, and you don't have any income unless we go for it.
Right.
So we went for it, and we've been going for it ever since. I think back, like, if I had a really good cushion and I wasn't concerned about making money, would I be so ambitious? I think it's so hard to say. I think it is built into my DNA, but I didn't have a cushion from my parents. So it's so hard to say. And then it makes me think like for my kids, my whole goal of everything I'm working for is basically to give them a cushion. But how do I do that so that they understand that they have to work for what they want so that they don't have, I don't know, the mental downside of not having to work for things and then not having the upside of achievement when they actually get what they want because they worked for it.
Yeah, I think a great person to role model this or to look
Hmm.
up to in this scenario that I often think of as now as I'm also bringing a baby into the world and want the same thing that you want. I want to give my kids a life that is so comfortable And also, I want them to work towards their purpose.
Hmm.
And to be able to define their purpose or define what makes them feel really lit up. And I think Dan Martell does a great example of this. I mean, he is worth hundreds of millions. He
Hmm.
could just buy his kids homes and cars and set up their businesses for them. And he always says, like, that's not what I'll do. I'm teaching them to, he gets them to read books and get into personal development and to really figure out what it is that lights them up and makes them passionate, and then figure out a way to support them to move towards that. You know, they're not going to have to pull out a student loan, but also like you have to have ambition. I think it comes down to purpose. I mean, My Line Purpose is such a great name for our company because
Hmm.
I do think that's the difference between people. If we remove money from it at all, what you're doing, are you doing it because like it lights you up and you feel on purpose? Doing it for any other plethora of reasons that people might have. But how do you teach your girls to figure out what their purpose is or what makes them feel on purpose and then move towards that and make that runway a little bit smoother for them than maybe you had it or your parents had it?
Yeah, totally. We don't need like nervous system breakdown because they feel alone and they feel like they have to handle the whole world on their shoulders. And how can they exactly work for what they want? I think it's really interesting to think about kids and money as well. Like, this is potentially me giving them money to do something they want to do, like go to school or whatever. But then teaching them how to think about money, save money, and invest money, and then potentially give money as well from a young age. I was talking to my neighbors at our neighborhood potluck thing yesterday, and I asked them what they do because they were talking about their 11-year-old's allowance, and they're both high earners. And I said, like, how much money do you give her and how do you work it? And the wife said that she read a book a long time ago where every week she gives the kid $30 and $10 gets saved, $10 is for spending, and $10 is for giving, donating. And so, of all the savings, I think she can spend 50% of it on like clothes that she needs more of, or if she loses something. And then the rest of it has to be put into her college fund. And then the $10 that she gets to spend a week, she can accumulate. And it's on this card called a green light card, which I know we don't have in Canada. So I'll have to look into something like that that we do have in Canada. But in this green light card that teaches kids about money, they can put the money in buckets from an app. Isn't that cool?
I'll get you the Canadian version because our friends
Oh,
Tara do that with their three kids. They've
oh,
got
good.
apps where they pay them and they go into the buckets and the kids can see it. And yes, they're
Okay, okay, okay. This is great. I'll text her and let her know. And then the other thing is donating the, I guess, 30% of your income. I find that so interesting. Another feather ruffling moment. Having worked in the nonprofit sector, I find it really interesting to put an emphasis on giving. And I would just recommend that you really look into the charity that you're giving to, because she said that she makes sure that her daughter gives to a charity that gives tax receipts. And that's great. And I've worked in a lot of charities that are completely dysfunctional. And it would have to be a really great charity in integrity for me to say, okay, I want to give to that and I want to give a lot of money. So I know that that's always something that we're looking to and we're looking out for in my aligned purpose is where can we volunteer and where can we give? And we've reached out to a few charities and there isn't the uptake to like have any involvement with the organization on the organization's part. So that's also interesting when I think about giving and I think about teaching kids about giving, because I think there are lots of other ways. Yes, giving to charity can be important, but I think there's lots of other ways that you can contribute to your community that's not necessarily directly giving to a charity with a tax receipt.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that sometimes in certain situations, time is a lot more valuable than money. You know, if you can go donate your time in food kitchen or with
Hmm.
youth or walking dogs or whatever it might be, that can go just as far, if not further, than your dollar. And so lots of people can consider that too. Like, how can you, everything is either just an exchange of time or money or both.
Hmm.
So really thinking about that. And just to go to your conversation about teaching your kids about money, another person I think of that I really respect her open conversation around this is Amanda Francis. I mean, being the self-acclaimed, proclaimed money queen, and her talking often about talking to her kids about money. And I know that she was saying that she was out with Shosh, her stepdaughter, and she wanted a particular doll or whatever. this was a while ago, and Amanda saying something along the lines of like, yeah, of course we can afford that doll, but I want to teach her the concept of like, we don't just buy everything we need or everything we want, and really prioritizing like, what are the things that will like move your happiness forward and make you feel better? And is this just an accumulation of things in the house? And yeah, I think all these conversations are really important. It makes me think if we go back to this initial conversation of if you have a really wealthy spouse or partner at home, or you've got a lifetime inheritance, or you've come into the lottery. And then what would you be doing in your business? And I think this conversation is really great because obviously this is so raw and real between you and I. What?
Just look at your hair right now. You look like a lion.
Okay, for the people that are watching this on YouTube, I said to Kayla, I was like, I'm just going to stay right here where I'm at on the couch. My hair is wrapped around my neck. I look like a lion. Ignore that. Just keep listening
Okay, just
verbally. Okay, Kayla, let's just give people an inside peek to what we were thinking. Imagine that next month you come into a lottery winning, and let's make it like a pretty decent amount. Let's say it's 5 million. What do you do? Do you keep doing My Line Purpose? Does it look different? Do you do something else? What does that level of access to money do for your ambition and motivation towards building your business?
okay. So if I won the lottery and or if our business made $5 million next month, what would I do? I would definitely call you immediately and I would tell you
Mhm.
and then not tell other people because it's none of their business, I guess, is the end result of that. We've talked this through before, not in this very moment, but we've been like, okay, if one of us wins the lottery, we're gonna have a secret pact. We're gonna tell each other that we won the lottery and then do whatever we're gonna do. And then everyone else will just be like, whoa, those two are really going for it. So, anyways, I truly
You're all
just
insiders to this info.
yeah, but I'm not going to tell you if I actually win the lottery. I mean, I guess I could have, and then this could not be theoretical, but for the purposes of this conversation, it's theoretical. Okay, so what would I do? I would definitely reno my house and keep it. I really like my location. I had to get my head around this location, but now that I'm in it, I love being 2 blocks from the beach, so close to the school. Reno this house, and I would put a podcasting studio in the backyard and I would go even more all in to my aligned purpose for sure. This is exactly what I want to be doing is being with our aligned CEOs and podcasting. And next year, 2026 is our year to figure out funnels and passive income and get our book out there even further. And I would just hire so much help for that. Yeah, we
There,
would be hiring another person on Paul's team. We'd hire Jake's team to help us launch that book. We would hire coaches, you name it. We would get the support in the moment from the experts around us who can show us exactly what to do to build the business and then hire the people we need to do that.
is there anything you would take away from what you or what we're currently doing as a company that you're like, yeah, if I'm being honest, we've got millions in the bank. I would remove that. Is there anything?
Yeah, I think I would remove how much I'm working and travel more. That's what I'd like to do. I feel like I need a vacation right now. And so, in these moments that I feel like I need a vacation and I have $5 million, I would say, okay, for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to go work from Tofino with my family. And maybe we would bring a nanny or someone with us, an au pair or someone with us who could work or watch the kids while we work for part of the day. And then the rest of the time we're in Tofino and we're on the beach and doing all sorts of relaxing things. That's the dream. We're almost there. We're getting there every day. The life is lined up for exactly what we want. It's just the enhancements that would make it $5 million amazing. And I would turn my basement into a spare room and a gym and an office, and it would be awesome.
I love
Okay.
I love this insider take for everybody to hear. And I know some people will listen to this and be like, yeah, 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 that's so awesome. And I know other people will listen to it. And as you're saying it out loud, they're probably thinking what I'm thinking of, like, oh my gosh, this is all just like right there available. Podcast studio in the backyard, like we could make that happen. Like you want to take two
We
weeks
could.
pretty soon and go to Tofino, and May and the team take your load off of you and you go do that. And maybe the hiring the au pair might take a little bit of finagling in the schedule and interviewing, but like, oh yeah, okay, these things are pretty like right there. But it
Yeah,
just
they're pretty
goes to
close.
show that you love what you do and you're like, yeah, I would just continue to grow this thing.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Definitely. I would refine some things that take a lot of time and don't have a lot of return and get rid of them if we don't like them. And then we'd hire for everything we do like and make it awesome. I have my vision board right here. I'd maybe decorate my house a bit differently, have a sauna in the backyard, have a podcast studio, have a trainer every time I go to the gym. It'd just be like what I'm doing now, but more.
Yeah, enhanced.
What about you?
Okay, so when we were talking about this before, I said the very first thing I would do if an outside abundance of money came in,
Hmm.
what you said, if Jeff made $2 million today, would you still do My Line Purpose? And I said, this is where I feel like we're a little bit different than maybe a lot of people because I would. I don't have the desire
Hmm.
to be a full stay-at-home wife or a full stay-at-home mom. And if that's your desire, I love that for you, but that's just not how I'm wired. That's not me. I feel like I get purpose and energy when I'm creating something that I get to teach or I get to talk about. And so I said, first things first, I would want a podcasting studio. I would want to amplify our podcasting. And it's so funny how over the years, what I really want from doing our What We Want journal book
Hmm.
and really getting crystal clear on my desires, what I really want has shifted so much because I used to always want like an Oprah lifestyle, like go to a studio, big studio audience, it's film, TV show, blah, 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 blah. And then I'm like, no, I want no paparazzi level fame. I don't want to travel often. I used to have this desire to be a speaker and I would be on a speaker circuit and I would travel all around. And I'm like, nope, I don't want that. What I actually want is to do the work that I get to do from my laptop. The original seedling that started all of this was seeing people work on their laptops and being like, wow, what a level of freedom they have. So I
Hmm.
don't want to be in airports and airplanes and going to studios. I want to build this business from wherever I want, but that's home these days. So create the epic podcast studio at home and have a podcast management company that comes into us. They film it, they record it, they do all of that. And I feel like we're getting there. Like that's getting closer. And
And an interior designer to design the two podcast studios so that they're like on theme, but they don't have to be exactly the same, but they are like walking into the most luxurious, oh my God, I love being in here space.
yeah, absolutely. Kind of like a earthy Tulum vibe is what I would want. Like plants. Anyways, I can imagine it all. So, yes, it would be I would elevate the podcasting and I would have a podcast manager that would help us really blow this thing up
Yeah.
where people were coming to us. You're
Hmm.
coming to our studio, you're flying in, that sort of thing. And I would also elevate the thinking support with content. Like I
Hmm.
like content, and yes, we can use ChatGPT and these sorts of things, or I can look at what other people are doing. But I would want an expert. Like I would love to have sit down strategy sessions with like Brock Johnson. Be like, okay, tell me how you get so creative with your reels. Like, what is your process? So do something like that. And if I had to think about like what would I release within my line purpose, what would I release? Yeah, I think it would just be like creating more and more space for the team to take things off.
Yeah.
Like there's still a lot of back and forth of like signing contracts and making sure things are uploaded properly and is this edited right and what's this response to this person. And so I would like to give away more thinking power to a team member and create more full days blocked off where
Hmm.
it's just like there's nothing scheduled if I want to do something for the business I do, but there's more time available. So the long answer to this is I love my line purpose so much. I'm literally obsessed with it. I would not do anything to take away from a line CEO method, that's for
Me
sure.
neither. I really love Align CEO method. If I had $10 million in my bank account right now, I would just love to invite more and more and more people in.
Me too. Or take everybody away on like a luxurious vacation or something. We all mastermind together.
I'm
Dream.
like profit margin, profit margin. And we would still be like that because we are building an incredible business.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I
Mhm.
wouldn't change anything about Align CEO method. I would only elevate the podcast. I would figure out how to blow this book launch up because I know our book is going to be a game changer. And I just heard
Mhm.
our coach Lori say on her podcast this morning that her book is what changed the entire game in her business. She was like, going
Mm.
all in on my book is what catapulted my success. And I'm like, okay,
Mm.
it's right there. It's available for us.
Mhm.
And yeah, I just see that there's so much available there. We've been talking about events and if we scale back, because we're like, is that what we really want? So it's interesting to be in this place in our business where we're like, what do we really want? And
Mhm.
what are we going to build?
Totally. You know what I thought was really fun that we did this year?
Hmm.
When we booked the extra night in Anaheim to go to Ben Rector, to the concert, it
Mhm.
was really fun to just be away for that. If that was just one night, if it was like, okay, there's a great concert in this place, we're just going to go for one day and go have fun. I would love to do more of that as well. I thought that was so good. And it could be even like a surprise VIP thing with client.
My gosh, totally.
That'd be so fun.
Remember when you came online and had this realization that you actually liked the dry heat after 3 nights in Arizona? You were like, I found myself. This is amazing. I love it here. I love the heat. This is
It
exactly what
was
I want.
so sad to leave last year. It was August for everyone who doesn't know what we're talking about. It was August and we were in Arizona and it's dry heat at 110 or whatever it is in the States, which God knows that must be like 50 degrees.
43 degrees every day. We were
Yeah.
sticky.
It was, yeah, but it was, I just felt like the hair dryer of life was blowing in my face. I was like, okay, I'm gonna be okay. I feel so, it was like a nice hug or something. It felt so good. And to be fair, I grew up in Ottawa and it's 100% humidity all the time. And the heat just frizzes your hair out and all your clothes stick to you and it feels disgusting. So I never experienced anything like that before at
Mm-hmm.
that level. Felt
Yeah,
so good.
it was so good. Okay, for people listening, and they're like, oh my gosh, my spouse does make a lot of money, and maybe I haven't really been like activating or moving towards a sale. What are Nicole and Kayla thinking about me? First of all, we want to just like put that to rest. We have people reach out to us every week, and they're like, is that podcast about me? We're like, it's
No.
not about one particular person. It's about a culmination of things, our own lives, our peers' lives, our clients' lives, what's happening out in the big worldwide web, all of the things. And
Hmm.
when we just want to talk about something, we talk about it, but we're never like, let's make this episode about that particular person. But I do want you to think if you're listening to this right now and you're like, okay, I'm in that situation where maybe I don't need to make the sale. What we want you to ask yourself is, are you okay with that? And if you are, can you take the fucking pressure off yourself to be like, I'm not doing enough, I'm not showing up enough, I'm not this enough, I'm not making enough money, whatever it is. If at your core, you don't really want to make money, if you're like, I'm comfortable where I am. So what do you want? Like I just
Hmm.
said, came to this realization that I don't want to be on tour and I don't want to be a speaker and I don't want fame. I don't want any of
Hmm.
those things. But I once thought I wanted those. What is it that you really, really want? And what do you want to do with your business that will actually motivate you if you're not going to be motivated by money?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you're over there like, well, then why do I have a business anyway? It's okay. You can have a business that doesn't make a ton of money if you want to.
Yeah.
You can have a hobby that doesn't make any money and you're still giving if you want to. You get to create whatever you want in your life. And I want to encourage you, if you're not a client yet and you don't necessarily want to make a ton of money in your business, but you're really passionate about a hobby, you can still get coaching. You can still get support. You can help yourself grow in a million ways and you deserve it. You don't have to tie all of your value to producing money.
Well, and I was also going to say, we've got a handful of clients who are with us not because they want or need their business to make more money, because they want community,
Hmm.
because they want strictly mindset or like to be in the manifesting energy, or because they want to create things that feel fun and purposeful, but they don't need to drive sales towards it. Like, I think about we've got a couple of people who are doing very, very, very well financially, necessarily coming to the calls or going into the content to figure out how to make more money in their business. Now it's figuring out like, how do I invest this? How do I diversify this? How do I grow my team? How do I increase my identity and my capacity to hold and receive more.
Yeah. And you could be on a totally different timeline than what you perceive other people to be on.
Yeah.
So maybe you're like, okay, I need to increase my capacity to receive. I want to figure out how I can turn this into a business or how I can turn it into a more profitable business. And you don't want to do it in the next 6 months. Like, okay, we're not saying you have to do anything because anyone else is doing it.
Yeah.
Love business. We love looking at numbers. We love helping people move. We know when we put a price point on something, it's enough that it's going to motivate you to show up and do the work. Because whether or not you're receiving it through your own business, if you spend it, we've seen over and over again, it needs to be enough that you're going to show up and contribute at the level that is going to support everybody else around you. So we work with serious business owners, especially in Aligned CEO method, who want to grow their business. Your timeline is your timeline.
Absolutely. And if you've listened to this whole episode and you're like thinking to yourself, I don't think I would do the business I'm in if I had access to the level of money that I desire. This is a really great evaluation point to ask yourself. Just give yourself the made up scenario. You win two, three, five, $10 million, or your spouse comes home and says they've got that amount of money, or whatever it might be. It's something outside of your business. I'm over here creating this course or doing this one-to-one transaction with people, and I actually don't even want to be doing that. I want to be doing this, but you've got a narrative in your mind that you can't do that until you have the money. Is there a way to start doing that to generate the money? Because
Mm-hmm.
chances are, if that's what you actually want to do and that makes you feel on purpose and energizes you, it will bring in more money and cash flow than the thing that you're doing right now that's really transactional. Like we believe in transformation, then the transaction. But if you're over there just like doing these one-off things or creating something all the time to be like, I just need to
Mm-hmm.
make money and you don't even like it,
Yeah.
it's probably not creating the money because you don't like it.
Yeah, we'll help you. Reach out, DM us at My Aligned Purpose if that's your situation, and we will help you through Aligned CEO method or cash flow, or we'll just talk to you in the DMs. We want to help you learn how whatever you love to do, you can monetize that so that you spend your time doing what you love to do and helping other people through doing that.
Absolutely. Okay, I think this is a really great convo. I feel like we've always said Biz Besties is our behind the scenes conversations, and I love when we are truly just chit-chatting away. I'm sitting on my couch, we're shooting the shit, and then we're like, this has got to be Biz Besties. Yeah, we would love to hear, like Kaila said, My Line Purpose over on Instagram. We want to help you no matter where you're at on the spectrum. You've got lots of money and don't know what to do with it, and you want to create something or make something out of it, we can help you. You're trying to figure out how to make lots of money and you're passionate about something, you want to create it, you want to make it, we want to help you. We're here for the full spectrum of wherever you lie.
Okay, talk to you soon.
Bye.